ever feel like something is not quite right, or off, or wrong in the world? Like things should be different and better in terms of empathy and compassion and respect for each other and respect for our environment and things like that? I remember growing up watching movies, cartoons, reading comic books, and consuming popular entertainment, and getting a decently positive feeling about the world. Then later in life, after listening to the mainstream media and interacting with lots of different people, I got an impression that there was a sort of benevolent order to things, and that if terrorists or villains wanted to attack or cause harm, that we would stop them and heroes would stand up and fight for the victims. Yet, these days I look around the world and sometimes it almost seems like things have turned upside down in a lot of ways. I think most people are probably good deep down inside, though sometimes to me it seems like the good ones are vastly outnumbered by the indifferent, the apathetic, and what I often refer to as the predators. I realize I could be wrong in regard to my estimations and perceptions. Maybe it's different than I think. However, to me it seems like the state of the world wouldn't be in such a dire condition if even half of the population were actively trying to heal and help. It seems like the majority of people are either indifferent or apathetic, and then next most in terms of numbers we have the predators, and finally the healers and helpers are the minorities. After the attacks on 9/11 happened, I was still a believer in nationalism at the time and almost signed up for the military to go help fight the so-called terrorists. Then in my late teens/early 20s, I started finding conspiracy theories about the subject on the internet, and things progressed from there. I started to realize that a lot was not what I thought it was, and that this idea of our government being a noble protector was cast into doubt. It has been a journey ever since then, especially in the last few years when I got much deeper and started learning more about secret societies and the occult. I also went vegan and became more concerned about the animals and the environment, and these days I find very few people seem to have similar views as I do. According to the data I've seen, it's often around 1 to 10% of the population who believe similar things depending upon the subject, and it frustrates me sometimes how so much of the world seems so oblivious to such issues and how serious and dire they appear to be in the grand scheme. Yet, I have to remind myself that it took me pretty much my whole life of researching and studying to get to where I am, and I only recently learned some of this. There was a point where I was a bit extreme and angry with people, almost to the point of being misanthropic. However, I found that didn't work very well to reach a lot of people, and it seemed a bit hypocritical as well as someone who was trying to promote peace and love. Now that I've been studying nonviolent communication for around a year, I feel like I am much better at getting information across to others. According to the data I've seen, trillions of animals are killed each year, and millions of humans have been killed in corrupt wars in the past couple decades. There are extreme amounts of artificial forest fires, deforestation, pollution, clean drinking water is a concern, millions of people are starving or don't have enough to eat to be healthy, many diseases seem to be on the increase. We further have ocean dead zones, significant oil spills, and nuclear waste issues. A report that came out not too long ago claimed 100,000 species are being threatened. Many are reported to be going extinct already. Animals vital to the ecosystem like bees and fish are in danger. We also still have large amounts of slavery, bigotry, crime, and the list goes on. There's so much wrong in the world, and sometimes it seems like not enough people care enough. I'm probably missing or forgetting some things that are incredibly serious as well. There's so much that's wrong or out of balance, it's just overwhelming. Things are so out of balance that some scientists believe we could actually be heading towards our own species' extinction. I think speaking out and trying to help heal and repair things to whatever degree we can is probably more needed, critical, and important than it's ever been. At least in recorded history, anyways. I think it's possible advanced civilizations have risen and fallen before in similar manner, but that's a subject for another episode. Another thing I want to say is, I do think there are secretive forces who are influencing world events for their own gain and often at the expense of the rest of us. I think they largely control most governments, major religions, and mainstream media, and have a majority of the world population under their spell, so to speak. I believe they are significantly connected to or behind most of the wars, most of the human rights issues, and most of the exploitation of the environment and animals. Even though so much is hidden, it appears many of these things are linked in ways, and in such ways that you can make significant potential connections or deductions. This whole aspect of occult forces influencing the wars, human and animal rights, the environment, and many more issues is one of the most critical subjects in my opinion. It's a crazy, scary, messed up world in a lot of ways, though also very beautiful, amazing, and wonderful in other ways too, and I very much want to help raise more awareness in regard to all of this and bring more attention to it if I can. Even if some or many people think it's crazy. This is so important to me, it just pulls at my soul. If you're one of those who thinks it's crazy, I hope you will give me a chance and tune in more in the future to consider some of the logic/evidence I have to share. And even if we end up disagreeing, I hope we can at least still have a respectful exchange about it. So, whether you're on the same page with me in regard to the occult or not, I hope we could still agree that things appear to be very dire in the world, and I don't have any clear answer. I wish I did. I feel personally like awareness is a major element, so I try to share what I've learned with others, and then hopefully, when enough people are aware, we can change. Though it seems very difficult to address some of these bigger issues like war, for example, when it seems like so many people don't even know what's going on or care. I don't reach very many people, so I'm not under the illusion that I'm making much of a difference, but I am doing my own little part, and sometimes we never know how our actions might ripple. Something you say could reach the right person or the right people who then carry that message even further or do something critical about it. That's a major reason why I try to remind myself that I should be happy if I reach even just one single solitary person, because who knows what that person might do with it. They might have a great way of looking at things based on their personal history and come up with a solution, or they might spread it to the person who does. It may seem really discouraging at times, though I do still have hope that we can make the future a better place. Some people say hope is dangerous, yet I think sometimes hope is the only thing that keeps some people going. And hey, who knows what will happen? Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe there will be a miracle. Maybe things will move in a better direction. I guess time will tell. Now that I've shared my thoughts, I encourage you to share your thoughts if you want to. Feel free to drop a comment on whichever social media is best for you, or you can send an email to exploringthoughtpodcast@gmail.com. I'll do my best to respond if it's reasonable for me to do so, and if I have the time and am able to. Thank you for your time, and bye until next time.